Yeah. Hood up. Seat back. Let the world be a rumor. Hoodie, hood, rising world framed in this cotton fold. City was a distant rumor while my thoughts turn slow and bold. Purple paint across the sunset like a spill that never dries. Lo-fi drums inside the speakers keeping tempo with my pride. Yeah, I've been bending just to fit and shrank myself to match the frame. Sat in rooms that felt like cages just to keep from losing name. Played the role of always down, never bothered, always there. While my own knees hit the shoulder like a deer, nobody cared. Now it's just me in this cockpit, silhouette against the glass. Tatted fingers on the wheel, letting all that pretense pass. Every line along the hood, pointing straight into the night. Every exhale in the cabin, feeling more like claim birthright. I don't know them one more version that was edited for taste. Don't know spaces that ignore me, all my gasoline and haste. I can drive with no performance, I can roll with no disguise. Let the hood shade half my face while the rest of me defies. Hoodie, hood horizon, world outside the frame. For a 20 little moment where I'm not playing a game. Blues guitar gliding, bass running deep. I don't have to be the strong one, every night I lose my sleep. If tomorrow I must mingle where my truth feels out of tune, I'll remember I got free space in this hoodie hood cocoon. I remember high school always keeping hoodie strings pulled tight. Not just trying to look cool, I was hiding from the light. Teachers saying take that off like my comfort was a crime. Didn't know that fabric shit would be a lifeline down the time. Same energy in grown-up rooms, just in button-ups and ties. They don't say take off the hoodie, they say hide your softer side. Tone it down with all the feelings, keep it chillin', never much. Turn your panic into banter, turn your heartbreak into crutch. So I learned to let my fashion speak what words could never risk. Threw a hood up in the summer like a middle finger frisk. But tonight it's not rebellion, it's a blanket I can steer. Tiny cotton little universe where I actually can hear my doubts without the echo of 100 outside takes. Hear my big ridiculous hopes without the shame that always waits. Hear my younger self say thank you for not leaving me alone, as the engine hums agreement in a warm and gravel tone. Hoodie, hood horizon, world outside the frame. For a 20 little moment where I'm not playing a game. Blues guitar gliding, bass running deep. I don't have to be the strong one, every night I lose my sleep. If tomorrow I must mingle where my truth feels out of tune, I'll remember I got free space in this hoodie hood cocoon. Maybe comfort isn't weakness, maybe softness isn't sin. Maybe armor can be fabric, maybe therapy's its rim. Not a couch with legal pad, but a wheel beneath my palm. Not a questionnaire in ink, but a highway made of calm. So I'll treat the simple hoodie like a halo for my head, like a do not disturb hung gently on the door of what I bled. If you ride inside this car with me, respect the rule it claims. You can speak your honest language or get out and change your lane. By the time I hit the turnoff near the place I call my rest, all the noise from other people feels less large inside my chest. Still a murmur in the background, but my own voice sits on top, spitting verses about my boundaries over drums that never stop. I park up beneath the street lamp, kill the engine, keep the hood. Sit in stillness for a second, feel my pulse be understood. Then I slide it back a little, let cool air kiss my hair. Halfway open like I'm saying some of me can meet you there. I don't gotta drop the armor just to prove that I can cope. I can unzip slow and steady while I'm rebuilding my hope. And if someday I feel cornered in a crowd that drains my tone, I can always hit the keys, pull the hood and drive alone. Hoodie, hood horizon, world outside the frame. For a 20 little moment where I'm not playing a game. Blues guitar gliding, bass running deep. I don't have to be the strong one, every night I lose my sleep. If tomorrow I must mingle where my truth feels out of tune, I remember I got free space in this hoodie hood cocoon. Door click, stairs creak, kitchen light hums low, but the comfort of that fabric still be following me home. If they ask me where I learned to let my real self be the pilot, I'll say under purple skies, with a hoodie hood and quiet. Red dots like little candles. Taillight therapy, stuck in traffic around midnight. Bumper to bumper confession underneath this crimson light. Everybody in their metal pews, sermons on their private pain. All of us in separate chapels on the same two-lane. I used to curse these jams like they were thieves of all my time. Now I see them as a pause between the chaos and the climb. Little for slow interventions from a universe that knows I would drive until I vanish if no brake light ever glows. Purple haze above the overpass, street signs humming low. Lo-fi snare inside the cabin, sinking with the stop and go. I'm surrounded by 100 lives I'll never understand, each one holding secret storms while they grip a tired hand. Some are heading back from late shifts, some from parties, some from fights, some from hospitals or breakups, or from half-lit Friday nights. I'm just one more quiet engine in a congregation stuck, trying not to go insane while acting like I'm fine as luck. Taillight therapy, red stars in a row, 420 little reasons I'm allowed to take it slow. Blue skis hover, bassline deep. I don't have to reach the driveway just to let my spirit weep. If tomorrow I'm impatient when the world gets jammed on me, I'll remember I found healing in this taillight therapy. I scroll less and start observing through the streaks on my windshield. See a driver wipe their eyes like something heavy got revealed. Watch a couple in the next lane talk with hands and gentle nods. See a lonely Uber rider check their phone like chatting gods. We're all faking tiny normal in these boxes made of steel, honking over simple slights to hide the bigger things we feel. I've been that dude cutting people off when I'm really mad at me, projecting thunderstorms inside on whoever dares to be. But sitting here with nowhere I can rush to nowhere fast makes me wonder how much kindness we could give if we just last. If we saw the other cars as more than obstacles and noise, more than NPCs that block us from our self-constructed joys. So I breathe and let compassion seep in under breathing steam. Think of how I hope a stranger treats me when I'm off my beam. And I vow to tap the brake before I weaponize my horn, turn my anger into lyrics, not collisions in a storm. Taillight therapy, red stars in a row, 420 little reasons I'm allowed to take it slow. Blue skis hover, bassline deep. I don't have to reach the driveway just to let my spirit weep. If tomorrow I'm impatient when the world gets jammed on me, I'll remember I found healing in this taillight therapy. Maybe grace is just remembering that we're all a little late, all delayed by hidden phone calls, detours life did orchestrate. Maybe mercy is the gap between our ego and the truth, where we let somebody merge because we wish them softer youth. So I offer up a blessing to the line that stretches on. May you all get home to something that's still warm when night is gone. May your tanks hold just enough to make it through another day. May your hearts find one small reason not to throw it all away. When the jam starts finally moving and the lanes begin to clear, I can feel a subtle difference in the way I'm sitting here. Not as wired, not as vengeful, not as eager just to win. More aware that every car around me holds a fragile skin. I leave space instead of tailgates for the ones who slide in front. I don't flow it just to prove that I'm not always on the blunt. And when someone cuts me off, I let the first curse pass on through. Then I picture them exhausted doing what I'm trying to do. By the time I hit my exit, all those red dots start to thin. But the therapy they gave me keeps on echoing within. And the song that played on repeat now got verses of its own. About 100 unknown neighbors I will never call my own. Taillight therapy, red stars in a row, 420 little reasons I'm allowed to take it slow. Blue skis hover, bassline deep. I don't have to reach the driveway just to let my spirit weep. If tomorrow I'm impatient when the world gets jammed on me, I'll remember I found healing in this taillight therapy. Turn on to my quiet street, Brake lights all belong to me, but I carry that long hallway of reluctant unity. If they ask me how I learned to let the traffic sometimes be, I'll say one long smoky standstill. Call it taillight therapy. City getting smaller, thoughts getting loud. Rearview city lights, shrinking in the sparks. Every mile another step away from overcrowded hearts. I've been breathing through a schedule that don't leave me any space, handing out my every minute like it never had a face. Purple sky behind the skyline bleed like watercolor wine. Lo-fi drums inside the cabin, keeping tempo with my spine. Tatted fingers on the wheel, trace the rhythm of my doubt. All the yes I said too quickly, all the times I wore me out. I can see my old apartment in a shimmer on the glass, like a memory of someone who was scared to let time pass. Stayed available for strangers that would never do the same, answering every you up like my soul was on a chain. Now the highway opens wider and the lights fall further back, and I'm asking what I'm chasing, what I'm losing with this track. If I keep on driving circles just to prove that I exist, or if I can choose a future where I'm not stuck in that list. Rearview city lights, I'm letting you receive 420 little reasons to believe in what I need. Blues guitar hovering, bass humming low. I don't have to burn my spirit just to keep your windows glow. If tomorrow I return there, it'll be on my own heights, not cause I forgot myself in those rearview city lights. I remember every party where I played the quiet wall, pouring drinks and cracking jokes so they'd never see me fall. Smiling wide in every photo, tagging fam and never switch, but left alone at 3 a.m. feeling empty, feeling glitched. Loved the way I made them lighter, loved the way I held the room, loved the way I took their secrets, turned them into lesser doom. But when I needed a harbor, when my storms began to rise, city lights were pretty brutal, they ain't looked me in the eyes. So I'm driving toward the outskirts where the darkness feels like rest, where the stars don't care for clouds, they just blink above my chest. Let the cool wind through the window wash the residue of smoke, wash the phone notifications of the bro, I'm kinda broke. I'm not saying I won't pull up, I'm not saying I won't care, I'm just retiring from the role of always answer, always there. Gonna learn to let a message sit unread without a shame. Gonna learn that my existence isn't tied to any flame. Rearview city lights, I'm letting you receive 420 little reasons to believe in what I need. Blues guitar hovering, bass humming low. I don't have to burn my spirit just to keep your windows glow. If tomorrow I return there, it'll be on my own heights, not cause I forgot myself in those rearview city lights. Maybe home is not the place where everybody knows your name. Maybe home is where you're allowed to not keep playing the same game, where the furniture is honesty and the rent is being real, where you're welcome when you're laughing and you're welcome when you feel. So I'll carry that idea like a compass in my chest, even if I find it later, even if it's still in jest. I just know I won't keep worshiping a skyline made of glass, when the cracks in my reflection tell me this too soon will pass. By the time the towers vanish from the mirror's narrow frame, I can hear my own thoughts clearer, they don't sound so full of blame. They say you did what you could do with the tools you had back then, but you're allowed to choose a softer set of people, place and pen. I not once to my reflection in the darkened piece of chrome. Promise I'll come back to visit, but I won't call chaos home. If the city wants my talent, it can meet me where I stand. I demand I wreck my heartbeat just to fit into its brand. I turn off on the back road where the houses hold the night, where the only neon shining is the gauge's gentle light. And I
feel a kind of freedom that ain't flashy, ain't polite. Just a quiet understanding I could leave that blind inside. Rearview city lights, I'm letting you receive 420 little reasons to believe in what I need. Blues guitar, hovering bass, humming low. I don't have to burn my spirit just to keep your windows glow. If tomorrow I return there, it'll be on my own heights. Not cause I forgot myself in those rearview city lights. Parked up under softer stars, engine clicking as it cools. I step out a little lighter, less obedient to those rules. If they ask me how I learned to stop treating burners right, I'll say I once drove out of town and watched rearview city lights.
Palms on the window, breath on the pane, trying to see past what I've been carrying. Glove print on the glass, smearing circles in the steam. Every swirl I half remember that forbidden broken dream. I've been leaning on this window like a wall that won't respond, watching highways like a movie where I don't belong, be home. Purple mist above the freeway, taillights humming steady low. Low for piano and the speakers chasing shadows as they go. Tattered knuckles leave their pattern in the fog, I exhale slow, like a signature in silence that says I'm still here, you know. All day long I play invisible in rooms that use my shine. Crack a joke or just a vibe, never show what's really mine. People text me when they're drowning, treat my words like second lungs, and forget to send a yuga when my energy is done. So I press my hands against this glass and watch the print appear. Proof that I exist right now, not just when I volunteer. Proof that warmth inside my fingers has a right to mark this view, even if the world forgets me once I'm done supporting you. Glove print on the glass, trace of who I am. 420 little patterns saying you don't need a stamp. Pulls your chords linger, smoke fades fast. I don't have to disappear once the crisis time has passed. If tomorrow I feel see-through in a crowd that moves too fast, I'll remember I left evidence in this glove print on the glass. On the glass, on the glass. Yeah, yeah. I remember younger days, riding shotgun full of doubt, drawing hearts and little messages, then wiping all of it out. Didn't wanna leave a mark that somebody else could read. Scared of being caught as razor, scared of showing any need. Now the driver's seat is mine and I've been acting like a ghost, still erasing all my traces every time I help the most. Cleaning up behind my kindness so no one feels it's a debt. Saying bro don't even mention it, ain't nothing, just forget. But the cost of being nameless is you never feel you're here, never see your own reflection as a soul instead of gear. So I let the condensation hold the evidence for once. Watch the fog reveal my outline like a case against the fronts. Fingers spread like broken wings, thumbprint where my courage shakes. Little pattern saying this is what a complicated takes. Not a perfect glossy photo, not a filtered instant post, just a temporary sketch of someone showing up for most. Glove print on the glass, trace of who I am. 420 little patterns saying you don't need a stamp. Lose your chords linger, smoke fades fast. I don't have to disappear once the crisis time has passed. If tomorrow I feel see-through in a crowd that moves too fast, I'll remember I left evidence in this glove print on the glass. On the glass, on the glass, hey, on the glass. Maybe worth is not in credits at the end of someone's film, not in shoutouts, not in mentions, not in tags around the brim. Maybe it's in how you honor your own presence when alone, how you claim that you were standing even when it's never shown. So I whisper to the prince, you can stay once in a while. You don't always need to vanish just to keep another smile. You can dry it with the sunrise, you can blur into the day, but I know you had a moment where you didn't wash away. Traffic thins and stars get louder while the windshield slowly clears. Glove print starting to dissolve at the edges like old fears.
years, but the center holds a little longer. Like my patience with myself, like a stubborn marker living that won't go back on the shelf. I take a photo in my head of how the smear refracts the light, how a messy human outline turned the street into a sight. And I vow that in the mornings when I doubt I've done enough, I'll remember there were nights I let that mark say you were tough. Then I wipe it with my sleeve, not in shame but as release, making room for different patterns, different stories, different peace, knowing every time I breathe there's a chance to write again on this fragile layer of vapor that sits between me and them. Print on the glass, trace of who I am, for 20 little patterns saying you don't need a stamp. Close the chords linger, smoke fades fast. I don't have to disappear once the crisis time has passed. If tomorrow I feel see-through in a crowd that moves too fast, I'll remember I left evidence in this glove print on the glass. Engine hums a tired hymn as I pull off toward my street. Hands still warm from where they pressed against that chilly sheet. If they ask me how I learned, I didn't need their eyes to last. I'll say I saw myself show up in the glove print on the glass. On the glass. On the glass. In the glove print on the glass. On the glass. Love print on the glass, and the glove print on the glass. Lights low, secrets in the plastic drawer. Midnight glove compartment, little vault beside my knee, where I stash the kind of feelings that I never let them see. Crinkle maps of old decisions, broken pens from failed goodbyes, burned papers from the nights I couldn't look 'em in the eye. Purple halo on the dashboard, city humming out of tune, lo-fi snare behind my breathing bassline leaning on the moon. I've been driving with a suitcase I can't fit inside the trunk, so I fold it into fragments, hide it right here with the jump. There's a lighter from a party where I smiled through a storm, took a shot for every memory I still ain't let transform. Listen to them toast the futures that I knew would drop my name, drove them home and watched my value melt like wax inside the flame. Midnight air through open windows smells like rain and gasoline, tattoo shimmer in the gauge like veins pulsing in between, and this little plastic drawer groans quiet every time that I push it closed on subjects I should open in a rhyme. Midnight glove compartment, cracked but still it stays. 420 little secrets hidden shallow plastic bays. Blues guitar whispering, smoke on my breath. I don't have to keep these chapters folded up to cheat on death. If tomorrow I feel heavy and can't tell which part is hard, I remember there's a drawer here full of midnight glove compartment art. I slide it open, hear the clack like a heartbeat speaking first. See a faded wristband label from my peak of feeling worse. Back when I was tired of waking, thought of vanishing from view, but still climb behind this wheel as if the road could pull me through. Next to folded grocery list would call my scribble never done. I've been acting like a grown man, scared the dollar's only son, pushing off the conversation where I let her see me weak, where I say I ain't invincible, I'm done with never speak. There's a photo booth strip wrinkled from a love that turned to frost, laughs frozen in four small frames from a version of me lost. I always swear I throw it out, yet I I drive with it each day. Like a relic of the moment I believed I couldn't stay. I line them on the passenger seat like cards laid out and spread. Every piece a little tarot from the life I left unread. And I feel this weird compassion for the kid who hoarded these, like he thought if he could hide them he would finally find some peace. Midnight glove compartment, cracked but still it stays. 420 little secrets hidden shallow plastic bay. Blues guitar whispering, smoke on my breath. I don't have to keep these chapters folded up to cheat on death. Maybe healing isn't torching every artifact of pain. Maybe it's in how you label what you're keeping in the frame. Right, I lived on every ticket, I survived on every band. Still in progress on the moments that I barely understand. So I grab a little Sharpie from the cup beside the break. Draw a tiny crooked halo around the scars I didn't take. On the picture from that lover, on the note I never sent. On the list we'll call my mother, still feels holy, still feel bent. One by one I put them back, but not in random guilty piles. Now that file is proof of chapters, now there's proof of all my trials. There's a section marked you made it, one mark reach out when you can. One that simply says remember you're allowed to change the plan. I don't slam the drawer this time, I close it slow and let it seal. Like a book whose every page I finally chosen to feel. Then I shift the gear to drive and roll away with softer grip. Not to iron what I open, but to take it on the trip. Streetlights blooming on the hood like blessings for my past. Every glow a little nod to say you didn't break, you last. And I know that if another wave of weight comes back too hard, I can park beneath this purple sky and reshuffle every card. Midnight glove compartment, cracked but still it stays. 420 little secrets hidden shallow plastic base. Blues guitar whispering, smoke on my breath. I don't have to keep these chapters folded up to cheat on death. If tomorrow I feel heavy and can't tell which part is hard, I remember there's a drawer here full of midnight glove compartment art. Engine cools outside my building, hallway lights are soft to gold. Yet a part of me still sits there with that plastic full of hope. If they ask me how I learned to see my baggage not as torment, I'll say alone one hazy evening with a midnight glove compartment. Yeah. Empty road, empty life, but I still got the blinker on. Yeah. 2 a.m. turn signal, ticking in an open lane. No one in my mirrors, but it's blinking just the same. Little amber metronome, tapping secrets on my dash. Every click a quiet question I've been scared to ever ask. Purple fog along the tree line, sky a half awake bruise. Lo-fi drums like distant thunder, bass like slow motion news. I've been living in ain't auto, changing lanes for everyone, merging into what they needed, never asking if I'm done. Got a habit of saying sure before I check with how I feel. Hit the signal just to follow, not to honor what is real. I'll adjust my speed and time and do fit someone else's route. Then I wonder why I'm empty when the things start running out. Tonight the road is vacant like a stage without a crowd. No one here to judge my choices, no one here to rain me loud. Yet my thumb still hits that lever, out of muscle, out of fear, like I'm asking some permission from a ghost that isn't here. 2 a.m. turn signal, blinking just for me. 420 little rhythm saying you decide you're free. Blue skis hover, smoke trails thin. I don't have to change direction just because I always been. If tomorrow I start shaping every move for their approval, I'll remember I once drove with this 2 a.m. turn
turn signal removable. I let it click for 30 seconds, then I asked myself for who. Nobody behind the warn, no one in front of me to woo. Only person who might need it is the voice inside my head, wanting proof that I'm allowed to move and not just freeze with dread. So I flick it off and coast a bit, feel the silence, fill the gap. Hear the engine sigh relief like it escaped another trap, but my fingers twitch to flip it back. Old reflex from the grind, from a decade driving choices that were never truly mine. I think back to yes I gave when no was screen printed inside. How I hit that mental blinker, then ignored my own collide, merging into jobs and circles that were toxic from the start, into love that loved my fixing but could never hold my heart. If a boundary is a signal from the highway of my chest, I've been flashing orange forever, then still steering to that mess. So tonight I practice reading it like it's law I wanna keep, not a suggestion I abandon when their needs grow loud and deep. 2 a.m. turn signal, blinking just for me. 420 little rhythm saying you decide you're free. Blues keys hover, smoke trails thin. I don't have to change direction just because I always been. If tomorrow I start shaping every move for their approval, I'll remember I once drove with this 2 a.m. turn signal removal. Yeah. Maybe destiny ain't magic, maybe fate ain't written stone. Maybe half of what we call it is just learn and say I own. Where I point this wheel at midnight, who I let ride in the seat, which invitations I decline to keep my sanity complete. So I promise to that ticking that I'll listen when it's real. When my gut says bro don't go there, I'll respect how that might feel. And if guilt stands in the breakdown lane with thumb out beg and ride, I'll wave kindly but keep driving with my instincts at my side. Streetlights thin, stars get louder, road lines hum beneath my tires, and the blinker only flashes when I truly feel desires. Not for habit, not for fear, not for guilt or phantom crew, but for turns that make me lighter, for alignments that feel true. I take one last sleepy exit to a hill above the town, look at all the windows glowing like they're trying to hold me down. Then I watch my own small arrow blink up on the cluster's face, see it as a tiny compass, not a sign of displaced grace. I could go back to the highway, I could park and then ride both directions, not feel valid since I'm driving from inside. So I hit it once with purpose, turn the wheel the way I choose, let the engine write the chorus while I finally stop to lose. 2 a.m. turn signal, blinking just for me. 420 little rhythm saying you decide you're free. Blues keys hover, smoke trails thin. I don't have to change direction just because I always been. If tomorrow I start shaping every move for their approval, I'll remember I done drove with this 2 a.m. turn signal removal. Back inside my quiet street, all the arrows dark and still, but that little phantom clicking keeps on echoing my will. If they ask me when I learned my lane was mine to call and swivel, I'll say one slow, empty highway with a 2 a.m. turn signal.